A very good morning to all. Welcome back to my class. In the previous video, we had discussed about the letter of Wanda's father and how Miss Mason reacted towards that letter. Also, we undergone the feelings of Maddie about Wanda, and she thought to meet Wanda with Peggy at Boggin Heights to say Wanda's drawings were beautiful and she was smart. I hope that you remember the portion that we have taken in the previous video of chapter number 6, the 100 dresses 2. Okay children, now we are going to unwind the rest of the lesson. So be ready with your textbook. Okay. Page number 75. When school was dismissed in the afternoon, Peggy said with pretended casualness, "Hey, let's go and see if that kid has left town or not." So Peggy had the same idea. Maddie glowed. Peggy was really all right. The two girls hurried out of the building, up the street toward Boggin Heights, the part of the town that wore such a forbidding air on this kind of a November afternoon, drizzly, damp and dismal. So, in this paragraph, we can understood that Peggy is also have the same idea to meet Wanda as Maddie think. So when the school was dismissed in the afternoon, with a pretended casualness means carelessness, that means Peggy is pretending carelessness, and she said to Maddie, "Let's go and see if Wanda had left town or not." So Maddie understood that Peggy had the same idea that of Maddie. So Maddie glowed. Glowed means she was in hopefulness. She was very happy to understand that Peggy was the same idea of Maddie. Peggy was really all right. Then the two girls hurried out of the building and they came up towards the street towards Boggin Heights. They started their journey to meet Wanda Petronsky at Boggin's Heights. And Boggin Heights was a part of the town that was such a forbidding air on this kind of a November afternoon. Even it is November afternoon, that Boggin Heights has some forbidding air which was drizzly. Drizzling means raining, and damp and dismal. Damp means wet. Dismal means sad. Damp and dismal means wet and sad. Here expressing a state of hopelessness. That means they are there to watch, there to meet Wanda, but they have some hopelessness in their mind because they had a doubt whether Wanda had left the town or not. So that place also, that Boggin Heights also drizzly, damp and dismal as the mind of Maddie and Peggy. "Well, at least," said Peggy gruffly, "I never did call her a foreigner or make fun of her name. I never thought she had the sense to know we were making fun of her anyway. I thought she was too dumb. And gee, look how she can draw." When they are moving to Boggin Heights, on the way, Peggy said something to Maddie. Gruffly means roughly. Peggy said something roughly to Maddie, and what did she say? She says that she never did call Wanda as a foreigner. When Peggy is teasing Wanda, she never called her as a foreigner or make fun because of her unfamiliar name. And she never thought that Wanda had the sense to know we were making fun of her. Peggy did not know that Wanda understood whether they are making fun of her. And Peggy thought that Wanda was a dumb girl. That we already know that Wanda never opened her mouth. She only says she had 100 dresses that all are lined up in her closet. And after that she shut her mouth. So here Peggy is saying that I think Wanda was a dumb girl. And Gee here means it's an expression, exclamatory expression. Look how she can draw. But anyway, Peggy was very much interested in her drawings and she is saying something in wonder. Look how she can draw. The way Wanda is drawing, it was very beautiful. So here in this paragraph, Peggy is saying that she never teased Wanda by calling her a foreigner or make fun of her because of her unfamiliar name. She thought that Wanda was a dumb girl and she did not expect that Wanda understood whether they are making fun of her or not. Anyway, Peggy was very much interested in the drawings of Wanda. She wondered the drawings done by Wanda. Okay. Maddie could say nothing. All she hoped was that they would find Wanda. She wanted to tell her that they were sorry they had picked on her and how wonderful the whole school thought she was. And please not to move away and everybody would be nice. She and Peggy would fight anybody who was not nice. So while Peggy is talking about this, what is the thinking of Maddie? Maddie did not say anything, but she has a hope that they can find Wanda. And when they met Wanda, Maddie wanted to tell her that they were sorry that they had picked on her. Picked on her means what they had done with her, the way they behaved to her. She wanted to tell sorry for that. And how wonderful, she also wanted to tell that how wonderful the school was thinking of her, about her drawings, about her ability to draw. And she also wanted to request Wanda not to move away from Boggin Heights, and everybody would be, all the students would be behaving very nice towards Wanda. If anybody is not behaving nicely towards Wanda, she and Peggy would fight with them. So that is the thinking of Maddie. Why Maddie came there to meet Wanda? She wanted to tell sorry to Wanda and also tell that all the school was admiring her for her drawings and not to move away from Boggin Heights, and everybody would be behaving towards Wanda nicely. If not, she and Peggy would fight with them. The two girls hurried on. They hoped to get to the top of the hill before dark. So they moved very fastly to get into that hill before it is dark. I think that is where the Petronskis live, said Maddie, pointing to a little white house. When they saw a little white house, Maddie pointing towards that house and says that I think that was where the Petronsky family live. Wisp of old grass stuck up here and there along the pathway like thin kittens. So along the pathway to that white little house, wisp of old grass, wisp means pieces of old grass stuck up there and here like thin kittens. The grasses are very soft like thin kittens. The house and its spare little yard looked shabby but clean. And what about the house and the little yard in front of it? Spares here means short. It's looked shabby. It's looked like a dirty place, but it is clean. That means it is very old. It reminded Maddie of Wanda's one dress, her faded blue cotton dress, shabby but clean. So when Maddie So the house and its spare's little yard looked shabby but clean. Maddie about Wanda's one dress. That faded blue cotton dress that Wanda is usually wearing. That faded blue cotton dress which is also shabby but it is clean. The dress was not ironed properly but it is clean. So when they saw the house, Maddie reminded of Wanda's one dress, that is that blue cotton dress which is shabby but clean. There was not a sign of life about the house. Peggy knocked firmly on the door, but there was no answer. So when they reached at Wanda's house, they cannot see anybody there. That means there was not a sign of life. Nobody in that house. Peggy knocked firmly on the door, but there was no reply. She and Maddie went around to the backyard and knocked there. Still there was no answer. So they reached in the backyard and knocked there in the back door. But there also they will not get any answer. That means in the house there is nobody. Okay. There was no doubt about it. The Petronskis were gone. How could they ever make amends? So Peggy and Maddie understood that the Petronsky family were left that place. There is no doubt about that the Petronskis were gone. But they have some feelings in their mind. What was their feeling? How could they ever make amends? How could they sorry? How could they repair their mind? Make amends means to show that one is sorry by doing something good. So how they can tell Wanda that they are sorry for what they had done to her. They turned slowly and made their way back down the hill. So they went back to home. Well, anyway, said Peggy, she is gone now. So what can we do? Besides, when I was asking her about all her dresses, she probably was getting good ideas for her drawings. She might not even have won the contest otherwise. And immediately Peggy said to Maddie that anyway she gone and what can we do now? And Peggy is thinking in a different way, and she is telling that when Peggy was asking Wanda about all her dresses, Wanda is getting a new idea for the drawings. That is why she got the medal in the contest. She won the prize in the contest. Otherwise, she did not get such an idea and she will not win that contest. So Peggy is thinking in a different way that Wanda won the contest only because Peggy given that idea of dresses. So when Peggy was asking about her the dresses, she got that idea, and from that idea she won the contest. Okay. Maddie turned this idea carefully over in her head, for if there were anything in it, she would not have to feel so badly. So when Peggy told this idea, Maddie carefully turned this idea over in her head. Why? Because if there were anything in it, she would not have to feel so badly. But that night, she could not get to sleep. But what about Maddie? Maddie is feeling something worse and she cannot sleep in that night. She thought about Wanda and her faded blue dress and the little house she had lived in. So, in Maddie's mind, she is thinking about Wanda and her faded blue dress and the little house she lived in Boggin Heights. And she thought of the glowing picture those 100 dresses made, all lined up in the classroom. And she is also thinking about that 100 dresses, that beautiful 100 dresses which all are lined up in the classroom. At last, Maddie sat up in bed and pressed her forehead tight in her hands and really thought. So Maddie did not get the sleep. So she sat up in her bed and pressed her forehead tightly with her hand. That means she is thinking very deeply. This was the hardest thinking she had ever done. So Maddie is thinking very deeply. After a long time, she reached an important conclusion. So after thinking for a lots of time, Maddie got a conclusion. Maddie take a good decision. So what was that decision? It's in the next paragraph. She was never going to stand by and say nothing again. If she ever heard anybody picking on someone because they were funny looking or because they had strange names, she would speak up. So what is the decision taken by Maddie in that night? She was never going to stand by and say nothing again. She is ready to open her mouth. If she ever heard anybody picking on someone, if anybody is teasing someone because they were funny looking or because they had strange names, then she would speak up for them, even if it meant losing Peggy's friendship. So Maddie is take a decision that even she lost the friendship of her dearest one, even though she will speak for the students who are teasing by another person because of funny looking or because of the strange names. That was the decision of Maddie. Maddie would speak up for that children. She had no way of making things right with Wanda, but from now on, she would never make anybody else that unhappy again. So she cannot do anything for Wanda. When Wanda is teasing by Peggy and other students, she did not have the courage to open her mouth and say stop because she thought that she will lose the friendship of Peggy. But now she had taken a decision that she had no way of making things right with Wanda. She cannot do anything right towards Wanda, but now onwards, she would never make anybody else that unhappy again like Wanda. She will speak for them. If anybody is teasing anyone because of their funny looking or because of the strange name they had, Wanda will speak for them. Okay, that's a decision. That's a strong decision taken by Wanda on that night. You can take the next page. On Saturday, Maddie spent the afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Wanda Petronsky. So after that day, the next day is on Saturday, Maddie is with Peggy and they were planning to write a letter to Wanda Petronsky. It was just a friendly letter telling about the contest and telling Wanda she had won. So what is the content of the letter? For what they are writing this letter? It was less like a friendly letter and they are telling about the contest, the drawing contest, and telling Wanda she had won the prize for the drawing contest. They told her how pretty her drawings were and they asked her if she liked where she was living and if she liked her new teacher. So they're telling Wanda that the drawings were very much pretty and they also asked her whether she liked her place, the new place she was living, and also her new teacher. It's completely a friendly letter for asking Wanda whether she liked the new place or the teacher. They had meant to say they were sorry, but it ended up with their just writing a friendly letter, the kind they would have written to any good friend. So actually they planned to write the letter to Wanda to say sorry, but the letter ended up with the just writing a friendly letter as the way they are writing a letter to any good friend. That means the letter did not contain any sorry notes. And they signed it with loads of X's of love. That means they signed the letter. They entered up with the sign of letter with lots of love. That is a friendly letter. In the letter, we can see that they are telling Wanda about her pretty drawings and the drawing contest, and she had won the drawing contest, and they are asking Wanda whether she liked her new place and her new teacher. They mailed the letter to Bogin Heights, writing please forward on the envelope. So, they mailed that letter to Bogin Heights, the address of Wanda in Bogin Heights, but they also write please forward on the envelope. That means they are sure that the letter will reach to Wanda's new address. That is why they had written please forward there. Okay. So my dear children, let's have a quick review on the topic that we have covered today in this video. The school was over. In the afternoon, Peggy told Maddie casually to go to Wanda's house. Peggy told Maddie that she never called her a foreigner. She never thought that Wanda could sense being made fun of. She thought that Wanda was dumb. Maddie said nothing. She hoped they would find Wanda. She wanted to tell her that they were sorry. She would tell her not to move away to another place. At last, Peggy and Maddie reached Wanda's house in the Bogin Heights. The house looked shabby but clean. It reminded Maddie of Wanda's one dress, that is that blue faded blue color dress. There were no sign of life there. That means there is no one in that house. Peggy knocked on the door on both sides, but there was no response. That means the Petronsky family had gone. So there is a question in their mind, how could they regret? Okay. Peggy told Maddie that they couldn't do anything then. When she asked Wanda about her dress, she had been getting good ideas about her drawings. She might not have won the contest without that. So without that idea, Wanda will not win that contest. Maddie thought about this idea of Peggy. That night she could not sleep. She thought of Wanda, her dress and her house. She thought and thought. At last she reached an important conclusion. What was the important conclusion? Maddie decided to say something if someone made fun of other before her. She could lose Peggy's friendship for that. Anyway, she would never make anybody unhappy. On Saturday, Maddie was with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Wanda. It was just a friendly letter. They praised Wanda's drawings. They had meant to say that they were sorry. Actually, they want to say sorry for Wanda, but they write only about the drawing context and whether she liked her new place and new teacher. And at last they mailed the letter to Bogin Heights as please forward. Okay. Okay, my dear children. Let's end our today's class. So read the lesson at least for 2 or 3 times. Study well. Take care. We will see in the next class. Bye. Thank you.